All right, guys, I'm super excited to be here with Bill Richter today of One Stop Pest Control. Of course, I'm Jared here with Main Street Mogul, and we're going to get to know Bill and hopefully be inspired by his amazing story today. Bill copied my logo. Not really, but if you go look at his business, we have a very similar logo of a stop sign. How'd y'all get to that logo, Bill? You want to tell that story real quick?
Honestly, it was just a Vistaprint logo that was popped up, and we thought that would be perfect for our company being One Stop Pest Control with stop signs. So that's how we come about.
I also got mine off of Vistaprint, so it just goes to show you don't have to be super fancy, guys. Just get something that works when you start. They say imperfect action is better than no action.
That is
so
true.
Sometimes just taking action. So Bill, tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into pest control, where you come from, and kind of your history of it a little bit.
Okay. Well, basically grew up in a small town outside of Oxford, Ohio.
Okay.
Some of you guys may know where that is. It's the home of Miami University. It used to be the Miami Redskins, which now is the Miami Redhawks. Grew up in a trailer
Redskins
park.
was too political, huh?
It was too political. They had to change it. But grew up in a trailer park as a young kid. Moved through a couple of different trailer parks, because my brother ended up getting us kicked out of a couple of them for spray painting other trailers and doing different things like that. So it was interesting. Hung out with quite a few people that weren't like the greatest people to hang around with. You're in a trailer park, so you guys put that together. Some people are still around, some people are not, and some people are drug addicts and that type of stuff. So I ran into a good friend of mine in 5th grade, and his parents kind of took me under their wing, because my household was not like the best type of house to live in, I should say. We grew up poor, didn't have a whole lot of money. My grandma usually paid our bills, that type of stuff.
Wow.
And we also, put it this way, I had 2 pair of pants for school, as far as wearing for jeans, to go to school. And of course, if those got wore out, my grandma would end up buying them for me. But I ended up running into a friend in 5th grade. His name was Tony. His parents took me under their wing, taught me a different lifestyle, culture. They were from England, so they were really good people. They were professors at Miami. And we just me and him have been friends ever since 5th grade. So probably 35 years, somewhere in that range.
Oh, wow. I think that just speaks to how important having a mentor and getting around a different family and seeing different things and having your mind open up to a different way of being.
Absolutely.
If you just stayed on that same track of living in that trailer park in poverty, your life might have went a different way.
It would have went a different way. I can tell you that. Being that I practically lived with those guys until I was probably 15, 16 years old. And they just showed me a different lifestyle. Basically, that you work hard for your money and do the right thing, and things will come to you.
Okay, ultimately, man. And, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and it seems like, honestly, some of the more successful ones come from a background of trauma or poverty. Mm-hmm. And I think, you got to be really gritty to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And although when you're living that kind of life, it's terrible and it's really, really hard, it ends up being a blessing later in life, because it gives you the grit, and that adversity gives you that tenacity you need to be able to push through the things that you need to be successful as a business owner.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, man. So you did that, you went through school. Tell us about how you got into the actual pest control industry. I know you have a background with a large company.
I do.
Kind of tell us how you got there and your journey with that company.
Sure.
And no names of a big company.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was a big one.
It was a big
one.
one.
I won't say the name, but it starts with a T.
Yeah, and we'll go with that. Yeah, so basically my stepdad worked for them, and basically told me that we had 3 kids at the time. He said, you need to go work for this company. They offer you a company vehicle, a company gas card, to and from work. And basically where I was working at was about, where the T was about 45 minutes to an hour away from my house. Didn't have a very good vehicle at that time that would be reliable to get me back and forth. So I thought that'd be a pretty good idea. Let me go down there and try to get hired on. They wouldn't hire me on in the same branch he was in because of nepotism. That's what they said, but they sent me to another branch and I got hired immediately. I started out as a termite treater. hitting all the houses, drilling constantly every single day.
Hard work. I also started as a termite tech.
I know you
it's
did.
very difficult
Absolutely.
work.
So it's difficult work, but started drilling, basements, hollow block in the basements, exterior trenching houses, and doing all that work at that point.
And then you ultimately worked your way through the ranks with that company and became into management and a branch manager and actually led and was a manager of a lot of people.
Yes.
So you always had a skill and talent for leadership
I did.
and doing that. All
Yep.
right, thank you, man. And then ultimately you started One Stop Pest Control.
Yes.
So did you go directly from working for that big company to starting your own company?
No, yes, I did. I actually left them and actually worked for a small company doing sales while I started my pest control business.
Okay, wow.
And then I also drove a school bus in between.
That's that grit we talk about.
That's that
huh?
grit. That's going after it. And I drove a school bus because my wife had drove a school bus for 20 years, and she said this would work perfect for you to run your pest control business. You're on the bus at 6 in the morning. You're off by 9. You go run to your first stop. You got to be back by 2. So I was able to do 5 to 6 hours of pest control in between there. And then when I got off the bus at 4:30, I'd run stops until 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Wow, man, that's getting it.
It was getting
good
it.
for you, man.
Yep.
So let's move past that to
Sure.
where now you're full time in pest control.
Yeah,
It's One Stop Pest Control.
it's one-stop pest control.
And you're doing that full time. It's just you by yourself for a while, right?
Correct.
Is your wife working with you at first?
She was not. She had her own job, and she also drove a bus.
So in the very beginning, you stopped the other job. You went full time into pest control. That was your only job working for yourself, and you were all by yourself. So you were doing all the sales. You were doing all the stops. You were like they
Answering
say, the
calls.
fry cook, the cashier, like doing all the billing, everything.
While I was still driving a school bus.
So you never did give up
I
driving?
didn't, I didn't didn't give up driving a school bus for 8 years.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
did that for 8 years
did.
like that?
Yeah.
What made you finally decide to give up the school bus?
My wife told me I was crazy putting in all those hours, and I was making enough money in the pest control that I didn't need to drive
So
a school
you finally,
bus.
after 8 years, just made enough revenue where you felt comfortable to give up the second
Yes.
revenue, and like a wise man, also decided to listen to your wife,
I listened to my wife.
which is smart.
She had already quit. It was time for me to quit.
Got it. Okay. So 8 years now, you're working there for. Does your wife come on at this time now?
We started in One Stop Pest Control in 2012. She came on in 2017.
Okay. Wow. So she did come on after a while and
She
started
did.
to help you, and I
She-
bet you very much appreciated that.
Very much. And there was times that she would help with termite jobs or different pest control jobs, bed bug jobs.
Okay.
And she did help with some paperwork here and there
Okay.
throughout most of the time to keep me straight and make sure we were doing it right.
Wow. Awesome. And
Yeah.
thank God. I always say behind every good man's a great woman, right?
Oh, very much.
So you're running the business. Y'all doing pretty good, right?
Yes. Yep.
And so this is what 2017.
hmm
What do you mind sharing? Like what kind of revenue or like what size company you were at that
We
point?
were roughly, I think, about $125,000.
Okay, so not
when
bad.
when she was starting to come in.
Okay, awesome,
Yeah.
man. And from there, I know we talked about it, but really what I want to talk about today is I know you had a really good business.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing what a lot of us do out there. You were a single operator, which I know you can make a great life, and you
Sure.
were
Yep.
being a single operator.
Yep.
But ultimately, and I want you to tell your story.
Yeah.
But I think what I want everybody to know is, I always get asked the question: should you be a single operator? Should you grow? Should you not grow? What's right for you, right?
Right.
But share your story, if you don't mind, how you went from being a single operator to quadrupling your company.
Yes.
Right. And if you
Yeah.
don't, he's going to do close to $1 million in revenue
Right.
this year. Right. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Well, thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
From 125 being a single operator to now having employees, quadrupling your company.
Right.
Would you mind kind of sharing how you did that and the story and everything that happened around that?
Absolutely. So in 2017, like I said, we were doing a lifestyle business because we were using it as vacations, going where we wanted to, and that type of stuff. Angie came on, and because I was running out of time where I couldn't do as much stuff as I needed to do to get the business done. So the first year,
Not to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
at this point, when we're small like that, you didn't have a big budget for digital marketing and
No.
all. Where were most of your leads coming from at this point?
referrals.
So just word of mouth reputation.
Yep, that was it.
Got
I
it.
didn't. I was a penny pincher. I didn't spend a whole lot of money in marketing. I was just kind of word of mouth, doing a good job. Realtors, that type of stuff is
Got it.
basically how it hit.
Got it. Okay.
But that first year that she came on, we doubled. We were 250,000. And then from there on out, every single year after that, we've increased 40%.
Wow.
So
So what's the main thing you attribute to, first of all, what ultimately made you make the decision to not be a single operator and step out of that and decide to hire employees and scale your company and make you decide that you wanted to grow and become a bigger company?
Gotcha. Good question. Had initially added Angie on, so it was just two of us at that point. Then we needed a little bit more help, so we added our daughter because she needed to work a couple days a week, not too many. She just wanted to work a couple because she had 3 kids, one with Down syndrome, so she had to deal with different things of that nature. So we brought her on for 2 days a week. So she had already gotten trained at that point. So next thing you know, we go through COVID 2020. Everything was fine. We didn't lose anything as far as revenue goes through 2020. I think we lost maybe 10 grand, but we were still around the 250,000 mark.
Sure.
But in 2001, on January 24, or June 24th, I apologize, June 24th, 2021, I came home from work, and that's the day that my life changed. We had about a 3-acre lot, and I needed to go home and mow grass. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home and mow grass. Angie usually would do the trim. I would do the mowing with the tractor, right? Well, we had a hill up on the front of the house, and I mowed the hill sideways like you're supposed to with a lawnmower. You should never do up and down ever. And I got done with that, and I was walking back to the house, and I did not let go of the mower to turn the mower off. And as I was walking back, I was on level ground, and I stepped on a stick with my left foot, tripped myself, and fell backwards. And as I fell, I held on to the mower and kept it running. And my right foot went up underneath the mower. By the time I hit the ground, I let go, but it had already done 2 swipes around and cut through my work boots and cut my toes off.
Oh my goodness,
Yep.
Bill.
So at that point, that was a life-changing event.
I can only imagine, yeah. And so up to that point, you were still mainly responsible for everything in your business. You were still running a route.
Yes.
You were doing sales. You were still doing most of the billing, right? Correct?
Angie was doing most of that
Billing.
at that point.
But you were still the front guy.
Yes.
The customer still called your cell phone.
Always.
Everything ran through you.
All day, every day.
And so you have this life-changing event,
Yeah.
right? So imagine at this point, you can no longer be that guy,
No.
right?
Nope.
I mean, you're not physically able to go in the field. What a scary moment.
Yeah, it was very scary because I didn't know
Right.
what was
What do
gonna
you do?
happen.
How do you support your family?
Right.
Like, very scary, which is, I love our single operators out there, but, that's always the question. What if something does happen to you and you're a single operator?
Yeah.
How do you provide for your family? If you're the single operator and something happens to you, you're basically out of business.
You're out of business.
And that's pretty scary because you
It's
work
very.
so hard as a single operator to build your business and your reputation. And
Yep.
something happens, man, it could all be over that fast.
It can. And
So what did you do?
So basically what happened is at that point, that day I had to go to emergency surgery. Of course, you're in the hospital for a couple of days. They had to clean it out and all that good stuff. I had to go through I went through 4 surgeries and about 9 months of rehab before I could actually walk on my foot.
So who's running your company while you're doing all this?
And my wife Angie and my daughter Sierra.
So your wife and your daughter stepped up, ran your company while you were recuperating.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So luckily I had those 2 in place that they knew what they were doing.
Right.
And could
A
have
lot of
access.
people that are single operators wouldn't even have that.
No, they wouldn't. I have a friend of mine that just had an issue this like 2 weeks ago. Had a lawnmower. Actually, he was putting it on a truck and it fell back on him. And he's actually out because he had to have some small intestines and different things taken out because the lawnmower messed him up.
My goodness.
And he's a single operator, and he's asking if we could help him out. And I said, absolutely, we'll help you out.
Yeah.
Do
Who better
whatever
help him
I can.
out? I mean, what you
Yeah.
went through, so
Absolutely.
you're thankful to be able to help him,
Very
right?
much so. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Which
100%.
speaks to your character.
Yes.
And one of the reasons that you probably had so much success, you have so much integrity and such a big heart, comes through in every aspect of your company and your being. Probably
Thank
a
you.
big contributor to your overall success.
I feel it does, yes.
So you go through recuperation, your wife and daughter held it together, right? They're not you.
They're not
They
me.
don't know what you know. They don't have your experience.
Correct.
They don't have your background.
They just had a cell phone.
They don't have the relations that you had with your customers.
Correct.
So you're laying in a hospital. Imagine you're scared,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be able thankful that they're doing it, but scared. They don't
Yeah.
know what I know. They don't have these relationships. They didn't lead a team of people at a large national company.
Right.
They've never actually sprayed bugs before, really, not in any real long-term time.
Right, not very long. I mean, Angie was with me from 2017, and Sierra was
Okay.
just about probably 4 months in.
Oh my
something like
goodness,
that.
man.
Yeah.
So you're laying in the hospital and you're just praying like, I hope they can hold it together. And
Yep.
and I imagine at this point you're just thinking about getting better and probably just getting back to what you always knew, which was hopefully getting back in the field.
Yes.
Stepping right back into your old role.
Doctor said I'd be able to get back in my old role, no problem
Right.
at all.
Okay.
But you know,
So ultimately, though, were you able to recover and go back into exactly what you were doing before?
I came back in January the next year in 22 and was doing fine. Obviously, there's a little bit of a limp and different things
Sure.
because your balance is off. You cut your toes off,
Yeah.
your balance is off. For the first year, a year and a half, things were great and not a problem. I mean, I still was sore and off balance. But eventually, over time, that off balance messes with your knees, your hips, and your back.
Got it.
So no matter what you're doing, different orthotics, different stuff like that didn't help to alleviate the pain and stuff like that. So I went from being able to run like a full route to maybe like a half a day.
Okay.
So instead of running, 12, 14 stops, it's running maybe 5 or 6 stops a day.
So ultimately, you were not able to return in the full capacity
Correct.
that you were able to do before.
Yep.
And so at this point, I'm sure you had to start thinking, man, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I restructure my day?
Yeah.
And how can, with this new situation, I be the best help to my company overall, right? So
Yep.
really hard decision, really hard against everything you ever knew, right?
Yeah.
And when we were small businesses too, I don't know about you, but when we're small like that, so much of our identity gets tied up and we get this thinking around it and we get so close to our customers and we're actually fearful that, man, if we don't go see our customers, that we'll lose these customers,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, that's a
absolutely.
common fear.
Yes.
And at this point, revenue-wise, y'all were still around 250?
At that point, I think we had went and visited you and Sky
Sure.
in New Orleans, and Sky had said that we were going to do about $350,000 that next year.
Wow.
And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. I was like, she's crazy. There's no
Right.
way. We ended up doing $444,000 that year.
That is awesome, man.
So,
and that was what you running partially in the field?
yes.
Or? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was completely shocked and unbelieving.
What did you do
I was a
different
believer at that point.
What did you do different to get that much growth at the time?
Honestly, we brought on my daughter's husband at that
Okay.
point. So we then had 3 people, 3.5 people in the field.
Awesome.
And we still had a lady in the office answering the phones.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, man. And so ultimately, didn't you decide to pull yourself completely out the field?
Yeah.
And was that decision based solely on the health issue? And if you wouldn't have had that life-changing incident, you think you'd ever pulled yourself out of the field anytime?
I probably would not have, except for starting to going to all these different seminars and different things like that, where people are talking about where you should actually really be pulling yourself out of the field, working on your business or working in your business, not on your business.
Working on your
On
business, not in your
I'm
business.
sorry, on your business, not in your business.
Sure, that's right.
That was my goal after I figured out that I
Yeah.
needed to hire
But
people.
knowing and doing is two different things.
Correct. It's very hard to pull yourself out.
It is.
Especially after running
that fear.
stops. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you do end up coming out the field. You're at about 350,000.
Yep.
What
444.
444.
Yeah.
Please correct
That-
me. Yes, let's get
444.
that straight. Let's get it right. So 444, you decide to come out the field completely, which is a
Right.
huge decision, and spurred mostly because you had this life-changing incident.
Right.
So you don't have really a choice but to come out the field.
Yep.
What did you start doing in your company at that point that best served your company?
That's a good question. The biggest thing that I really was doing was I was actually going out and seeing customers still, but I was doing sales. Inside sales, answering the phone, helping to schedule, that type of stuff. So, and I haven't really worked on the numbers the way that I would like to do that, but that's actually in the works as we speak now.
Awesome.
We're going to change that.
So you went from being a technician to putting most of your time into what I think is one of your strongest suits. You're a very talented salesman,
Yes.
which before you wasn't able to put all your energy or effort in sales.
Not even close.
Not even close,
No.
because you were so busy actually spraying and running a route and doing all
Correct.
the things.
Yep.
But finally, almost by force, you had no choice. You had to come out the field. You were still able to do sales, which was less labor intensive.
Right?
And that's what was really your skill and your passion,
Yes.
because that was kind of your background a little bit, right?
It was. Yep.
And so then you put all your effort and energy into sales, got out the field. And how did the company grow at that point? What happened from that point?
So basically, at that point, we started hiring outside people from outside the family.
Right. You had no choice.
Yeah, because you run out of family members eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't hire your friends and family people, by the way. Don't do it. It works sometimes, but if you
Sometimes,
can
yes.
avoid it, avoid it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep, exactly. So basically, we had my son and my daughter were working with us. My oldest daughter had moved away from where we lived, about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, so she no longer worked with us, nor did her husband. So we brought my son decided he wanted to come in and work for us. My youngest daughter is working for us. She works in the office, and then my wife and myself. So we brought some outside people in, hired a couple outside people, and the business just kind of took off.
Wow.
We started doing some advertising, marketing, some Google local, stuff like that, and things just kind
And
of
would
blew
you
up.
say it blew up because you actually started doing just what you said, working on your business and in it, and because you were able to focus on what you were most skilled at,
Yeah.
which was sales, the business started to explode in a way at that point that you probably had never seen before.
Absolutely.
So you went from 444,000
Yep.
till this year, you're looking like you're pretty close, going to do $1 million.
Yeah, we should.
So literally from that 125, you literally quadrupled the business.
Yes.
When you decided to come out the field
From 21
from 21,
to 25.
and it was really just a shift in your mindset and putting your energy and focus on what you were the most talented at, which you would have never done without that life-changing
No.
event.
And it was definitely a change of focus because I never thought that I would be out of the field. I always thought that I would just run this business by myself with my wife and
Right.
run the lifestyle business that we were running.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, isn't that funny, huh? Some of our biggest disasters can turn out to be some of our biggest blessings sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to that guy out there right now? He's just getting started, or he's been in business, a number of years. He's that single operator. Maybe he has his wife working with him, or he has one office manager, and
Yeah.
he's out there grinding it, and he's has this great reputation. He has no cancels. He services all his own customers. He's making a great life for himself as a single operator, but he maybe he's thinking about doing something a little different, but he's scared, just like we all are, Scared maybe if he's not the one doing the route that other people won't do it as good as him, which they won't do it
They
as
won't
good
do
as
it.
you.
As long as
first
they
of
do
all.
80% of what you do, you're perfect.
That's right, 80%. They won't do 100%
They
of what
will
you
not.
do. And he probably has that fear that we all have, that if I don't see my customers, they're all going to cancel. I got to do it myself,
They're not going to cancel, by the way.
right? So what would you tell that guy?
I would tell that guy to seriously look into your business, add another person to make sure that you have a backup, because you don't know when something may happen. You may have an accident, a car wreck. You may slip and fall and break your ankle. You may slip and fall and cut your toes off with a lawnmower like I did. You never know, and I think you should be prepared for that so your family is taken care of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bill, thank you so much. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add to this conversation that you think would be valuable to anyone out there that's looking to have the type of success that you've had in the short time that you've had it?
I would say just work hard every day for what you want to do. Set goals and strive for them.
Wow. Bill, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it'll inspire a lot of people. It's an amazing story.
Well,
and I know your story is not over. You're going to continue to have a lot more growth and
For
continue
sure.
to have success. And I can't wait to watch what you continue to do in the future, Bill. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. I
so
appreciate
much.
it. Thanks for having me.
So, guys, this is Jared at Main Street Mogul. If you want to get in touch with Bill, if you're in, what market do you service? Bill?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati. So if you're in
Yep.
Cincinnati, Ohio, call Bill at One Stop Pest. You will not be dissatisfied. This man does a great job. He will definitely get you taken care of. And if you do want to continue to grow, check out Eagle's Nest Mastermind Group. We can get you in there and get some work done that really can help you to scale. So check out Eagle's Nest. And if you got any value from this, guys, please like and subscribe. Main Street Mogul. And thank you for your time, guys. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.